Royal shock. Princess Leonor's hidden meaning behind 6 roses. The palace courtyard was silent. The air, heavy with anticipation. Cameras flashed. Spectators watched. Everyone expected the usual royal grace, the usual symbolic gestures. But what appeared in Princess Leonor's hands left Spain breathless. 6 roses. Just 6. Simple, silent, yet powerful enough to shake the entire monarchy. What did they mean? And why were they so important to her? This was not a random bouquet. It was a message, one that carried heartbreak, loyalty, rebellion, and love. And only those closest to the crown knew the real story. It all began weeks before the ceremony. Preparations for Leonor's most public appearance yet, the kind of event that defines a future queen. Every color, every flower, every gesture was chosen with care. But one choice was hers alone, the flowers she would carry. The palace expected white lilies, the traditional emblem of Spanish royalty, purity, faith, lineage. But Leonor refused. She wanted roses. And not just any roses, exactly 6. When asked why, she smiled softly, saying only, "Each one means something to me." At first, the press assumed it was a simple aesthetic choice. White roses, perhaps for elegance. Red roses, maybe for romance. But when the moment arrived, and Leonor appeared, the truth was far more intricate. She carried 6 roses, each a different color, each chosen with deliberate meaning. The symbolism, when decoded, told a story of courage, love, and defiance. The first rose was white, purity, yes, but not innocence. This was the rose of honor. A tribute to her duty, to her family, and to the weight of the crown that has shaped her life since birth. It symbolized the girl she was, obedient, polished, graceful, the one who carried her nation's expectations. The second was red, bold, passionate, alive. This was not about royalty. It was about love. Rumors have long swirled about Leonor's private affection for someone outside the royal circle, someone she met far from the palace's guarded gates. The red rose was for him. For the one who taught her that love doesn't have to bow to protocol. The third was yellow, bright and unexpected. It stood for friendship and joy. This rose was for her sister, Infanta Sofia. Insiders say Leonor insisted on adding it last minute. A quiet nod to the bond that has kept her grounded through the pressures of royal life. The fourth rose was blue, the rarest shade in her bouquet. Blue roses symbolize the impossible, the unattainable dream. Some say it was a message to herself, a reminder that even as the future queen, there are things she cannot have. Others believe it was a tribute to her late great-grandfather, a man she deeply admired, who once told her that every monarch must chase the impossible to inspire their people. The fifth rose was pink, softness, affection, gratitude. The pink rose, many believe, was for her mother, Queen Letizia. A quiet apology, perhaps. Or a thank you. Their relationship has often been painted as complicated, strong personalities, generational divides, conflicting views on duty and modernity. Yet beneath it all lies mutual respect, love, and understanding. The pink rose was Leonor's way of saying, "I see you. I understand now." And finally, the sixth rose, black. Mysterious, unsettling, unroyal. The black rose shocked everyone. Some gasped. Others whispered. Black roses symbolize farewell, transformation, or even the death of an old self. Was Leonor saying goodbye to her childhood? To her freedom? To the life she once knew? As the procession continued, cameras captured the subtle tremor in her hand, not fear, but emotion. She wasn't just holding flowers, she was holding her story. 6 roses that told the world who she truly was, not just a royal heir, but a woman awakening to her destiny. But here's where the story deepens. Palace insiders later revealed that the idea of 6 roses came from an ancient Spanish royal tradition, one that had been forgotten for over a century. In the 1800s, a young queen once carried 6 symbolic flowers during her own coronation to represent her personal vows. Leonor's decision was a deliberate echo of that queen, a way of saying that even within tradition, there's room for renewal. Yet not everyone in the palace approved. Some advisors reportedly urged her to remove the black rose, fearing it would spark speculation or seem morbid. But Leonor refused. "It stays," she said simply. It's the truest one. When asked later by a close aide what the black rose truly meant, she replied, "It's not about death. It's about becoming." The public's reaction was immediate. Across Spain, newspapers debated the symbolism. Some praised her courage and creativity, others accused her of being too modern, too emotional for a future queen. Yet the people, the ones who have watched her grow from a shy teenager into a poised young woman, saw something deeper. They saw authenticity. That moment became iconic. Artists painted it. Poets wrote about it. The 6 Roses of Leonor became a cultural symbol, a phrase now whispered in admiration across royal circles. Even international commentators noted how effortlessly she merged monarchy with meaning, tradition with emotion. And while the world analyzed colors and petals, one question lingered: who inspired this act of rebellion? Some believe it was Queen Letizia herself, who once broke barriers by marrying for love rather than lineage. Others say it was someone outside the royal family entirely, someone whose influence on Leonor runs deeper than anyone dares to admit. There's even speculation that each rose corresponded not only to emotion but to a person. 6 roses, 6 influences, 6 stories. The white for duty, her father, King Felipe. The red for love, the unnamed confidant. The yellow for sisterhood, Sophia. The blue for heritage, her ancestors. The pink for guidance, her mother. And the black for herself, the future queen reborn. As the ceremony ended, a quiet moment caught everyone's attention. Leonor placed one of the roses at the base of the royal banner before walking away. It was the black one. Symbolically leaving behind the past, she stepped into the next chapter of her life. The act was subtle, almost imperceptible. But for those who noticed, it was powerful. Days later, she was asked by a journalist what the roses meant. Leonor smiled, looked directly at the camera, and said, "Every queen leaves her own message. Mine was in flowers." That simple line became the headline across Europe. Leonor's 6 Roses message to Spain. The moment solidified her image, not as a girl trapped by duty, but as a monarch capable of weaving poetry into politics. And behind closed doors, the royal family reacted differently. King Felipe, though outwardly composed, was said to be deeply moved. Queen Letizia reportedly teared up when she saw her daughter's gesture of reconciliation through the pink rose. Even her grandmother, Queen Sophia, called it the most personal royal act I've ever witnessed. Weeks later, the 6 roses were preserved, encased in glass and displayed in a private section of the royal archive. Not for public view, but for history. Because someday, when Leonor ascends the throne, those 6 roses will serve as a reminder of the day she declared herself, not through words but through symbolism. And that's what makes this story unforgettable. 6 roses, 6 meanings, 1 message: the crown may be inherited, but authenticity must be earned. Princess Leonor's gesture wasn't rebellion, it was revelation. She didn't defy tradition, she redefined it. She showed Spain that symbolism still speaks, that monarchy can still feel, that leadership can still be human. The world may remember the ceremony, the jewels, the grandeur, but Spain will remember the roses. Because behind those petals lay the soul of a queen. A queen who dared to speak in silence. A queen who said everything without saying a single word. And as the sun set over Madrid that day, a quiet wind carried the scent of those 6 roses through the palace halls, a whisper of change, of love, and of destiny taking root in full bloom.